Everybody, welcome back finally to Conscious Conversation with me, Christy J. So before I get into what today's video is going to be about, I just want to briefly explain, why I've been gone and what's been going on and all of that. But that's not the point of this video, and maybe I'll make one about that later. I just don't feel like that's what this YouTube channel is ever supposed to be about. It's more about getting, the right messages out there, so I don't think it's important to go into details about what's been going on the past year. I haven't been doing my YouTube, but I guess if you guys requested or whatever, I might eventually make a video about it. But for now, I just want to say a lot of change went on when I stopped doing my YouTube, and, I thought it would cool down and I would be able to start back up, but really the past year's just been a lot of change over and over and over. And I actually just recently moved again into my own house, and I've moved 3 times in the past year, so there was just a lot of really crazy stuff going on, a lot of uneasiness, a lot of trying to get my family back into a stable situation. So I just didn't feel like I was in the right place. Most of the time I just didn't feel like I was in the right place mentally to be still doing my YouTube. There's times where it was more like computer or Wi-Fi issues and stuff like that, but for the most part it's just been that I didn't feel like good about myself. I kind of got off of my self-love journey, and that had me thinking that I wasn't, worthy of sharing or something. So that also had an effect on it a lot. Mostly that's probably the biggest factor, but I've been really drawn to start it back up again, especially with my recent move and everything. I've been living here for 2.5 weeks now, so it hasn't been long. But with all that, I've just been feeling like I really needed to restart it, so I'm gonna do it. And I think that there's like a really important message that needs to be put out there right now, and that's why I've really felt the need to go ahead and start this back up this week, because I've had a lot of friends and family coming to me and just seeing it on Facebook and stuff that are really freaked out ever since the eclipse, because pretty much that's when, the crazy weather started, and then just lately the stuff, all the controversy between kneeling or standing for the anthem and stuff during the football games, and all of the controversy around the Las Vegas shooting, and if it was a false flag or not, and gun control and all that. So with all this stuff going on, I've been having a lot of people come to me like panicking and just like really freaking out and worried for themselves and worried about the state of the world and feeling really down. And I really understand during these hard times that it's really hard not to get negative and not to just see the world as this awful negative place that's never going to get better, that's only getting worse. But I don't feel like that's true at all, and I feel like people have a hard time seeing that sometimes when we're going through these things, but I can see it. So I just decided I'd make a video for all the people feeling that way, and this way I can send this to my friends and family when they come to me upset, and for anybody else who might be needing to hear it, because it's a pretty common way to feel during these times, then this is out there for them. Because I just think the focus right now is totally in the wrong place. Right now we're focused on being divided. We're focused on black and white. We're focused on one side of the argument or the other, and how we're right, and this is the reason that we're right. And I know there's people out there who can respectfully say their side and listen to somebody else's and say, I don't agree with you, but I respect you. But that is not very many people, and that's not what I'm seeing all over the place right now. There's a lot more people that turn really ugly when you don't agree with them or tell them that you think differently. So I just feel like the problem right now is we're all really focused on being divided. And I guess maybe that's not our direct focus. The focus is we just think with all this going on, oh, well, I need to get my idea out there, and I feel it's the best idea, so, people should listen to it, and this is what we should do, versus, like, understanding that the problem is far deeper than something as simple as gun control or standing or kneeling or anything like that. The problem, all these little problems that are manifesting are trying to point us towards a much deeper problem that's going on collectively, which is our disconnect in general. And, you know, it's not only our disconnect and our division from those around us, which is clear with the way we're all acting right now. It's past that. That comes out of our disconnect with ourselves, because, I mean, most people today don't love themselves, aren't connected with them to their true selves, aren't being true to themselves, aren't treating themselves right, don't feel well about themselves. And that is stemming even deeper from the ultimate problem, our disconnection from source. Because, I mean, ultimately that's within us. And so we lose connection with it when we lose connection with ourselves, and it causes us to lose connection with others. And so it's ridiculous to sit here and try to say that the leaves that are the edge of the problem, that have grown out from the problem, need to be trimmed off on the edge, and then everything will be better. Like, no. Why don't we just go straight down to the root? Because there's too many of the little problems that have spread out for us to even manage right now. It's because that's not the way it's supposed to be done. We've got to be able to, you know, trace it down the line and see the bigger problem, and that is the division and the disconnect, and to work on that. Because if we could all just work on that on a personal level, it would change the way that we treat others, which would change the way, if everybody could do that, it would change the way we treat each other as a whole society, and start to change the things that are happening in the world. But people are just so focused on their side, you know, and being right, and the other person being wrong, that it's all over the place, and it's a big mess right now. Let me just look at my notes. So, okay, you're probably wondering, like, what's the solution to this? Not just like, oh, you're just gonna point out the problem, but what are we supposed to do? I feel like it starts with acknowledging the problem in the first place. There's nothing wrong with having your own opinion and feeling your own truth and not agreeing with others. In fact, you are supposed to be very confident in your truth and very willing to share it with others. That's what we're all here to do, because all of our different perspectives are equally valuable on sorry, I thought somebody was knocking. You can just crop that part out, Casey. Jesus Christ, I lost me in the middle of the sentence right now. Okay, here, let me pick back up, and then you'll be able to just get this part out of here. All of our perspectives are equally valuable on a quantum level. What the fuck? That's not what I meant either. Okay, here, I'll word it like this, so you can skip to this part instead. All of our perspectives are equally valuable to the source consciousness, because it's only in our level of perception that we see duality and lower levels where we see good and bad. But when you go back out to a source perspective, there is no good and bad. It's all part of the balance. And so on that light, all of our perspectives are equally valuable. And because of synchronicity and things like that, we are brought to people who need to hear our message, or to people whose message we need to hear. And so it's important for us to speak our truth. But it's also really important to be able to listen to other people's truths, if not more important, because you've got one truth that you know. So it's good to share it in case it resonates with them and it can help them in some way, or teach them something, or bring up something out of their truth that you need to hear. But their truth could be just as important to you, so you shouldn't be so worried about always just sharing your truth. Like, share your truth and then listen to other people's, because you're going to learn more from multiple other truths than just saying yours and never listening to anybody else's, and belittling everybody else's and calling people names if their truth is different. It's not going to get you anywhere. The only way that you can truly grow and have more knowledge is from taking in both sides and listening to both sides. And it's okay to disagree with somebody, but you should be able to do it in a respectful way and not, treat them like they're wrong and you're right. Because, maybe their truth doesn't align with yours, but that doesn't mean that your way is the ultimate way. None of us can make that call. So I just feel like it's really important to be able to not be hateful towards people because of their opposing truths, because that's what starts to divide us and make us fight. And here's the thing, it's not just a saying, it's not just cliche like united we stand, divided we fall. That's the truth. It's a lot easier to take down a species when they're dividing themselves over all these ridiculous different labels and thinking that that's what's important in life, is to sit there and defend your label and defend your label and defend your side and fight the other side, when really if we could just let all those labels fall away, we would be way more united, we wouldn't be fighting, and we would be a lot harder to manipulate and control like we're being right now. And if you can't see that, I don't imagine you're watching my videos if you're somebody that hasn't figured out we're being controlled, by an elite or whatever. And here's the thing, the more we divide ourselves, the easier we are to keep on controlling and keep taking down. If I was going to fight an enemy that was really big, bigger than I could, too big to win against, would it not make sense to, feed on them hating each other and make them hate each other, feed on the insecurities within the group that are making people fight or whatever and go against two sides, and then, take that and use it to make them be even more hateful towards each other. And then the enemy's taking itself out versus them having to take us out. We're taking ourselves out. We're making ourselves easy to control. They don't even have to try that hard because they throw out some ridiculous thing for people to debate, and then we all go hardcore one side or the other and fight against each other and take each other out, and they don't even have to do anything. So it's just something to really think about. I feel like if we could all just acknowledge that the problem is much deeper than these surface things that are manifesting, and acknowledging that is what will change the way that things are going. Until we can acknowledge that, nothing's going to change, because we'll just keep on dividing ourselves further and further and further apart and becoming more and more fractured, more and more weak. Really, we can't connect with each other and be a strong foundation for a strong future that we can feel coming until we can acknowledge this and, really band together and look past our differences and remember what makes us the same. We are all the same, from the same source. We are all part of that collective consciousness. We're all part of that God that made everything, whatever you believe in. And we've got to focus on that, not focus on what makes us different, or we're just defeating ourselves. So I just feel like that's something that people really need to think about right now and focus on, instead of focusing so hardcore on which side you believe in and why you believe it and why it's right, and focus more on respectfully speaking that, not overdoing it, because you don't need to say it over and over every day. You can say it and it's out there and we know what you believe in, and thanks for sharing what you believe in. But then you can listen to what other people believe in and see if you can benefit from it, instead of just, continuing to shout what you believe in. You should be able to stay true to your truth. Make sure to speak your truth, because it's just as bad if you're not saying your truth at all and you're only listening to other people's. You still have got to be putting out your perspective, because it is valuable and it is important, or else it wouldn't be here. None of us would. Nothing is an accident. All it takes is a quick Google search about sacred geometry and all that to see that everything is exactly as it should be. And that means you know, all of our views are what they should be, and we should be sharing them with each other, but we should be able to do it in a way that is productive for all of us instead of doing it in a way that divides us to the point that we can't even accomplish anything because we're so broken and divided. So I guess basically my message overall is the same, you know. United we stand, divided we fall, and that's really the truth of it. So please just try to remember to stay open to others, to still speak your truth, but to be respectful about it, and to try to see the ways that people are the same as you more than you see the differences in people. Try that and see how it'll change your own life. And try to teach it to others. If we can all just start doing it, things would really change. So that's what I wanted this video to be about today, and the message I felt like that really needs to get put out there. I'll be doing videos, should be once a week now again, on Fridays. And I'm also going to do Tuesday Tunes still. I don't know that it'll always be once a week, but I'll let you guys know when I'll be doing those. And otherwise, just expect regular videos on Fridays again. So thanks for coming back with me, guys. I've definitely missed doing this, and I'm really excited to be back doing this with you guys. So thank you for taking the time to watch this, and thanks for supporting me in the past. Thanks for waiting out this year, and I can't wait to talk to you guys more. Thanks.